We're going to take a look at the anatomy of control. We're going inside a system that is, well, it's complex, and it's terrifyingly efficient. And it all starts with just one simple question.
Now, in some places, this isn't some philosophical thought experiment. No, it's a calculation you have to make every single day. See, in this world, survival is the only currency that matters. And the price? It's etched into everything. Every law, every ritual, every single relationship. So if we really want to understand how this system works, we have to understand that cost.
So where do we begin? We're going to start at the perimeter, at the very edges of this world, because it's here that life is really defined by what it's missing. And you start to see that the system's control, it's not just about what it does, but also what it strategically doesn't do.
And right away, you see this huge gap between the official rules and what people actually do every day. On paper, you've got these strict laws designed to contain and control everyone. But in reality, the fact that these rules can't really be enforced, well, that's what allows people to survive. Take the fence. It's supposed to be electrified, right? Keep things out. But the power is so unreliable, it doesn't even keep people in. And hunting illegally, that's not some act of defiance. It's literally the only way to eat. So that space between the law and life itself, that's not a loophole. It's a necessary condition for existence.
And that constant grinding pressure of just not having enough, it seeps into everything. It even strips something like affection down to its most basic functional form. This quote, it's not really about love for a pet. It's a negotiation. It's a truce based on mutual need. What it shows us is a world where there's just no room for anything that isn't brutally practical.
So you might think this daily desperation is just an accident of poverty, but it's not. It's by design. It's been codified, even weaponized into this annual ritual. A ritual whose only purpose is to reinforce the entire structure of control.
And at the heart of this whole ritual is something called tesserae. It's a choice. That's not really a choice at all. Here's how it works. The system offers you a tiny bit of food, just enough to keep you from starving, in exchange for putting your child's name into the lottery one more time. The logic is just brutal. The system is literally forcing the poorest families to gamble with their children's lives over and over just to make it to the next year.
So, if you're very young, your name might only be in there once. The odds are still in your favor. It reflects a life that's just getting started, a slate that hasn't been marked by years and years of this accumulated poverty.
But then you have others. For them, the weight of their family's hunger is tallied up on slips of paper. 42. His name is in there 42 times. Think about that. Every single one of those entries represents a trade, a desperate choice made for just a little more grain, a little more oil. At that point, the odds aren't about random chance anymore, are they? They're a direct measurement of how poor you are. So, once the lottery does its thing and selects its participants, they're pulled out of that life on the perimeter and taken straight to the system's core. And it's here that a whole new process begins, a transformation designed to turn a person into a product. And the very first step in this process? Erasure. They literally strip away every trace of where you came from. The coal dust under your nails, the scars from a life of hardship, everything is methodically scrubbed away. They're making you a blank canvas, ready to be repainted in a completely new image. And right here in this process, the system's core belief is just laid bare. This line, "You almost look like a human being now," it's meant to be a compliment, but think about what it's really saying. It reveals this worldview where people from the outer districts aren't even considered fully human to begin with. They're seen as something raw, maybe even feral, that has to be fixed before it can be shown to the world.
And that's the whole point of this transformation. You're not a person from a specific place anymore. You are now a persona, a character in a story. You get a costume, an angle, a narrative. You are literally being manufactured for an audience to consume.
Once they've been remade, these new personas are put into the final instrument of control. It's a perfectly designed environment, a stage built specifically for their destruction, the arena.
Now, this isn't some patch of wilderness left to chance. No, this stage is controlled. It's run by an intelligence, an architect of the whole story, the game maker. And their job isn't just to watch what happens, it's to shape what happens, to create drama, to build suspense, to manufacture tragedy, all for the audience.
And the tools they have to work with? They're absolute. Is the action getting a little slow? Fine, they'll just conjure a wall of fire to push people together. They can unleash genetically engineered monsters. They can even change the fundamental rules of the game right in the middle of it. It's total control,
environmental and psychological, and it's all done for one reason, to make sure the audience never gets bored.
But here's the thing. Even inside this perfectly designed system of control and dehumanization, something unpredictable starts to happen. Little signals, cracks in the facade. You start to see signs of a humanity that maybe can't be completely erased.
It starts with a gesture, something old, from a nearly forgotten tradition. And in a moment that is designed to isolate and terrify a single person, a whole community acts together, as one. It's a silent signal, but it's so powerful. It says, "We see you. We honor your sacrifice." It's an act of shared respect that just completely defies the system's goal of breaking everyone down into scared, separate individuals.
Then a gift of bread shows up. But this isn't from some wealthy sponsor trying to play the game. It's from the working people of another district. This has never happened before. It's an incredible act of solidarity. And by acknowledging that gift, a connection is forged right across those boundaries that are supposed to keep everyone divided and weak. It hints at a shared identity, the very thing the system is built to crush.
And that leads to this final brilliant moment of insight. The realization that the spectacle's #1 rule, that it has to have a winner, is also its biggest weakness. See, this understanding creates an impossible choice for the people in charge. They can either break their own rules and crown 2 victors, or have no victor at all, which would make the entire spectacle a complete failure. They're trapped by their own law.
So that leaves us with one last question to think about. In a system that is designed to force you into one of 2 boxes, monster or victim, what is the ultimate act of rebellion? Maybe it's refusing to choose. Maybe the most radical thing you can do is to simply insist on your own humanity and on the humanity of others, no matter what.